investigation.
But you don't have any kind of suspect description to release to us yet?
At this point, no, we do not.
What can you tell us about the victims? You gave us they're all males, their approximate age. Do any of them live in the unit, or is it too early to know all that?
At this point, it's too early in the investigation. Once we have more concrete information, we'll be sure to share that with the residents and citizens to assist in the investigation.
All right. Okay, we got all four. You guys. Oh yeah, stuff on the sidewalk.
Okay, so during the incident, it seems like some material was struck and it was just debris falling, so we shut that sidewalk down for safety of residents, so no one gets struck by any debris.
So it just kind of fell out the window?
Yes.
There's a gun clip or hammer. Is that related to this?
It may be related. You don't really find pieces of weapon fragments on a sidewalk. So right now we have the scene contained, and we're working just to identify all pieces of evidence to assist with the case. Thank you.
Pretty much so a drug deal going bad? Robbery? What?
There was a large quantity, so it's credible to believe that this is highly narcotics related. There's a large quantity of drugs inside. We don't know what transpired before, but it seems as though there's a large quantity of weapons, drugs inside the apartment.
Were there any weapons inside since you mentioned it?
It appears so, yes, there was.
Can you tell us the extent of the injuries?
Gunshot wounds, but they all appear to be stable. All right, thank you.
Captain Jermaine Dearlove with the department, but just a little bit more information on this. The impact of the gunfire was actually visible on the street below. A chair and several weapon fragments described to police as gun clips were found on the sidewalk. You can see there in the video some of what we're talking about. So authorities ended up closing off the adjacent sidewalk while that investigation continued on. What we don't know in the situation just yet, no suspect descriptions have been released, and investigators are currently reviewing surveillance video from the building. They're hoping to be able to identify those responsible through that, but it remains unclear right now if those victims were residents of the apartment or if maybe they were visitors. And also those victims' names have not yet been released. So still a lot to figure out in this, but obviously a big deal, talking about 4 people shot at a high-rise in Midtown Atlanta. Well, turning our attention now to some of the other local stories that we're following for you today, beginning with this one. Union City Police have launched a homicide investigation after they say a man was shot and found dead inside of a residence late last night. Police responded to a call, they said, on Dorian Drive, and that's where they found the victim dead inside the home. Now, based on the initial investigation here, detectives believe the shooting happened shortly before 8 p.m. Now, details regarding the victim's identity or even a potential motive have not been released by investigators just yet, but they're currently canvassing the neighborhood. They're talking to folks, and they're urging anyone with information or who might have seen some suspicious activity going down, or maybe heard gunfire there, to give them a call and to come forward. All right, got to get to this one. Just a terrible story here. So sad. A toddler shot and killed in Sandy Springs at an apartment complex. This happened Wednesday afternoon by his father, police are saying. So what happened here, it was about 2 p.m. at the Carlisle of Sandy Springs apartment residences. It's located in the 2600 block of Sandalwood Drive. Now, according to the Sandy Springs Police Department, that 2-year-old was found shot. Medics attempted to revive the toddler there at the scene, but the boy was pronounced dead there. Police arrested the father, Richard Willis, in connection to that shooting. Willis is charged with second-degree murder, cruelty to children in the second degree, and he was taken to the Fulton County Jail. You can see there in the video there was crime scene tape, that had sectioned off part of the parking lot and just the area around the apartment complex. For hours, the scene was like this, what you're seeing there. Police cordoned off sections of the complex. Skyfox 5 was able to get that view up and over. Lots of officers there on the ground, heavy police presence. Neighbors are saying they're reeling from the news. They can't believe that this happened in their area. They say it's typically pretty quiet. Sandy Springs police are continuing to investigate the circumstances surrounding the gunfire, and investigators have not released information on who was supervising the child at the time that those shots were fired. So another story where there's still quite a bit of information that we need to get to the bottom of for you. Want to get to this one now out of Dacula. A young boy was accidentally shot in the hand on Wednesday morning. He was taken to the hospital. They're saying that these are non-life-threatening injuries. That's the word from Gwinnett County Police. But officers responded to 3470 Brazelton Highway. Police said the child was taken to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for treatment. The gun there was recovered, but the case remains under investigation. Now, we did speak with the child's mother, and here's what she said. She said she was taking her son to breakfast at Burger King. They were sitting in the car before heading to a nearby Publix, and she says that is when the shooting occurred. She said that she received a phone call from a neighbor, and when she turned back to her son, she says that she saw the barrel of a gun before it discharged. Again, this all happened inside of the car outside of this Burger King. She initially believed she'd been shot, but then she realized her son had severely injured his index finger. The mother said the gun belonged to the husband who'd had the gun in the center console of the car. Police took possession of the truck this happened in and the gun as part of the investigation. The child's father was at the hospital with him. Authorities have not announced whether any charges will be filed in this case. But again, sounds like a pretty crazy scene that went down there in Dacula. And now let's get you to Northwest Atlanta. This is where a man was hospitalized following a shooting. Atlanta police responded to the 2500 block of Etheridge Drive Northwest at about 1 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon, and that's where they found a 26-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound. So authorities say the man was alert, he was conscious, he was breathing, and he was taken to the hospital for treatment. The investigation here is ongoing. What we don't know, though, aggravated assault investigators are still working to determine the circumstances surrounding the shooting, and they tell us that no arrests have been made thus far. All right, well, turning our attention now to President Trump as he is shifting into campaign mode today. He's actually heading to Georgia in advance of next week's State of the Union address. So Fox's Doug Luzader is reporting from Washington. He's also trying to lay some groundwork for the midterm elections.
President Trump convenes a meeting of his new Board of Peace at the White House this morning, but from there it is a big pivot back to the economy.
So happy Black History Month, happy Black History Year, and happy Black History Century.
President Trump marking Black History Month at the White House and offering a preview of his address to Congress next week.
Watch the State of the Union. We're going to be talking about the economy. We inherited a mess, and now we have prices way down. We have energy way down.
And today, Air Force One will carry the president and that economic message to Rome, Georgia.
He's spoken about his intention to go across the country a lot more, and obviously tomorrow's trip is evidence of that.
It's part of what the White House has called a weekly effort to get the president campaigning ahead of this year's midterm elections, with GOP control of Congress hanging in the balance.
The president tells us a lot all the time about how well he's doing on the economy, but the polling suggests that people aren't feeling it, and as long as that's the case, you got to come up with something to change their mind.
J.B. Pritzker.
Democrats, meantime, including possible White House aspirants like Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, are lining up their own arguments on the economy.
The president is making life harder and less affordable with tariff taxes on working families and small businesses, trade wars devastating farmers.
And as all of these arguments play out, there is no end in sight yet for the Department of Homeland Security's spending shutdown, about to enter its second week. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
In Rome today, as stop comes just as early voting began in the state's 14th congressional district, all to replace U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. So President Trump is expected to give remarks on affordability and the economy after a visit to a local business there in Rome. It's all according to the White House. So his visit comes after endorsing Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit District Attorney Clay Fuller to fill that vacant district seat in the ongoing special election. He is one of many. There's a lot of people who are vying to occupy that seat that was once taken by Greene. So whoever wins the seat will end up serving out the remainder of Greene's term, which runs until next January. So we'll be in this position until January. During remarks at a Black History Month reception on Wednesday, the president floated the idea of possibly deploying National Guard troops to Georgia, though no formal action has been announced on this just yet. The president has has sent troops to several other cities we know of, including Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago, and Portland, Oregon as well. So certainly something that we will keep our eye on. And I want to share this with you. Air Force One will soon be getting what they're calling a new all-American look. So here's what we know about that. The U.S. military announced a new color scheme for the president's plane. An updated jet slated to be the new Air Force One will have red, white, gold, and dark blue paint on it. Military also released a sneak peek of that new look, just to give us some insight into what to expect. Matches an airplane model that's been seen at the Oval Office. So smaller planes used by government officials are also expected to reflect the new colors. Boeing was in the process of modifying two of its aircrafts expected to replace the fleet President Trump currently uses. He's long tried to update the plane's Kennedy-era blue and white color palette. He told reporters, quote, "We want power blue, not baby blue." That is the word coming in from the president. It is 11:12, and let's turn our attention now to the weather. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy is joining us with what's happening outside. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you. We are inching closer to the weekend and to the return of rain. There will be rain throughout the first part of the weekend before we dry things out going into next week, but we're not going to just dry out. We're going to cool down significantly. So for the first part of the week, it's been all about the temperature, but we now have to shift our focus onto the wet weather situation. So as we take a look at Fox 5 Live Vapor Radar, you can see here the skies are clear for now, just clouds hanging above. As we zoom out and take a look at the big picture, you can see here there's a area of low pressure rolling out of Kansas, but you can see its arms extend far and wide. And there's a little bit of moisture that is crawling over the Appalachians as we speak. A couple of those cells may want to drift down into North Georgia, mainly for the mountains as we get deeper into the day. In terms of impactful weather, the focus will be across the Ohio River Valley from Illinois into Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky today for some severe weather. We're talking about tornadoes, hail, along with damaging wind gusts expected there today. That activity shouldn't impact us. However, the threat tomorrow will advance to the south, across the northern deep south, if you will. In the Mid-South, you can see here Friday there is a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe storms, and that does include a generous part of North Georgia. Up and down the I-75, 85, and 20 corridors, a greater threat to the north and to the west of the city. However, you will get your due as we get into the day Saturday if you are to the south and to the east of town. So let's time it all out here as we get ready for the skies to open up. Today, once again, is really kind of an isolated hit and miss type of shower activity. We're not looking at most locations getting anything at all. Tomorrow morning, a cold front moves through ahead of the front. We'll have a thin line of showers. It doesn't look too aggressive here, so I think we'll have more cloud cover than not. In terms of spitting rain, it's going to be kind of hard to come by, maybe in some cases. As the front slips to the south, it carries the clouds along with it. So it looks like the second half of Friday will be preserved and temperatures will run high. We'll look for the numbers to return back to the 70s, much like today. By Saturday, the clouds are back and so are the rain chances. You can see if you're waking up early on a Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, you will likely run into some downpours here and or there. It doesn't look too intimidating on this model, but I think there could be a couple spots to get some heavy downpours and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. Overall, we've got basically 3 systems, and they're gonna just trek through the area over the next 3 days. Thursday, there's an opportunity. Today, there's an opportunity. Friday, and a little bit of a better opportunity on Saturday as that low pools across the area. By Sunday, all the action is out of here, and winds are coming in out of the north and the west, ushering in a cold air regime for the week to come. So Friday and Saturday, I think lightning will be the most plentiful element, but still hard to come by in most cases. A few rumbles of thunder can't be ruled out. Damaging wind gusts, large hail, excessive rainfall, maybe isolated, but likely not going to happen at all. If you get rainfall across the area, I'm thinking we're going to be somewhere around a ½ inch. The models always just go bonkers, Elise, and then we have to start pulling back. So now that I know them, and I know what they do, I'm just going to tell you folks, don't expect those amounts that are above an inch, especially if your ground is parched or you've gotten a little bit of a spring itch in your crowd and you're trying to do some spring things. I've heard of some planning. I've heard some whispers out there. Don't do that yet. Hold your horses. But if you're looking for some fertilizer by way of Mother Nature in the way of rain, we'll take what we can get, but it's not going to be that generous.
Man, I didn't know how good we had it earlier this week. What, Monday, Tuesday? Gee.
Do you remember I told you, I said Tuesday's the pinnacle day.
Yeah.
It is a day where we get the sweet spot of great temperatures, but also plenty of sunshine. As we got deeper into the week, sunshine kind of hard to come by. I'm not saying it's shut out because we can even see some glimmers of sunshine through our windows here in the newsroom right now. And I think the afternoons are going to feature more sunshine than the mornings. So kind of a gloomy, groggy start, muggy start to the morning. Then if you hang out just for a little while, the sun peeks his head out during the second half of the day. It's going to be very reminiscent of April around here.
Okay, April and February.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to bode for us later on down the line, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right?
Consistency, but whatever.
There we go. Yeah. Would be nice. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, our time is 11:17 now, and turning our attention to what's happening in court today. Testimony continues in the trial of Colin Gray, the father of the accused Apalachee High School shooter, as jurors heard from both a school administrator and a school resource officer about the moments leading up to the attacks. Again, it's day 4. We mentioned that school administrator. They described efforts to find the gunman before the gunfire began. There was a pretty long lapse in that amount of time from when they were looking for him until he was located. Deputies testified about a smoke-filled hallway and taking the suspect into custody, and prosecutors argued that Colin Gray ignored the warning signs and enabled access to a weapon, which really is the point, I guess we should say, of this trial and why we find ourselves on day 4. So the trial centers on allegations that Gray knew his son was struggling and failed to take steps to prevent the shooting. Prosecutors expected to argue the weapon used was a Christmas gift from Gray to his son, despite concerns about the teen's mental health and potential for violence. So testimony is underway this morning as prosecutors continue to call witnesses to establish Gray's alleged negligence, which is what they are trying to prove. Deputy Anthony Townsend, who is with the Barrow County Sheriff's Office, now with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office, took the stand. So let's listen in together.
Yourself going to Barrow High School?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember about how many people?
I do not. There were multiple deputies and other law enforcement officers from multiple different agencies that were at Barrow when I got there.
Okay. And what did you do at Barrow High School?
I began to try to approach the building in order to help secure the location, at which time I was told by a supervisor to go to a third location.
Okay. So did you ever make it inside of Barrow High School?
No.
Okay. So now you're told, is this on the radio or?
I believe that was by phone.
Okay, by phone. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. So you're told to go to another location. Do you remember where you were told to go?
I do not remember the exact address. However, it turned out to be a personal residence.
Okay. Were you given a location to go, or were you given an address to go to?
An address.
Okay. And how did you locate where that address was?
I was given an address by my supervisor. I put that address in my GPS and just drove to that location.
Okay. And was that location in Barrow County?
It was.
Okay. Did anyone else also go to that location?
Deputy Bazinet.
Okay. Did you know him?
Yes.
Okay. You worked with Barrow County also?
Yes.
All right. And what were your instructions to do at that location?
To secure that secure the persons at that location, just secure that location.
Okay. And did you know anything about that location?
No.
Did you know why you were sent there?
No.
Okay. Did you know what had happened at Apalachee?
Yes.
And what did you know about what had happened at that time?
At that time, I was only made aware that there had been an active shooter incident in which multiple people had been injured. Was unsure if the victims, how many were deceased, unsure how many active threats there were, or if said active threats had been detained or where they were.
Okay. So you didn't know if anybody had been arrested?
No.
Didn't know. Certainly didn't know who had been arrested if
no.
they had been. Okay. So do you remember about what time you arrived at that residence?
I would say roughly 30 minutes after I got in the county.
Okay.
I can tell you time frame exactly. It was about midday, I'd say.
Okay. And what happened when you arrived at the residence?
Myself and Deputy Bazinet approached the residence. He knocked on the front door. I went to the side entrance near the garage carport area.
Okay. This garage carport, was the garage door open?
Yes.
Like the main car part door?
Yes, it was open. I don't believe there was actually a door. I believe it was just more of a carport.
Okay. So you're standing at the carport, and Deputy Bazinet Hasnet went what
To the front door. To my right, to the front door.
Could you tell if he knocked on the door?
Yes, he did. I could hear him knock.
Okay. And did anyone come to the front door?
No, they came out the garage door.
Okay. Where are you positioned as far as the house?
If you're looking at the house, on the front left corner near the front door, front side of the building.
And we've been hearing there from Deputy Anthony Townsend, who is now with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office. So again, it's day 4 of the trial, and we'll keep you posted on what is happening inside of the courtroom. But also ahead for you this morning, you probably noticed this if you've looked at your credit card statements. It's right around now when those holiday bills really start to hit. So we're talking with an expert to get you a little bit of help on how to handle it next. Welcome back, everyone. 11:24. Thanks for being with us on this Thursday. So you could be one of millions of Americans who are starting to really see those holiday bills hitting. You're really starting to get a sense of how much money that you spent. And you might be facing mounting credit card balances, so you're not alone. Joining us to talk a bit about this, we have Paul Oster, known as the nation's credit repair man. How about that? He's a credit repair and credit management specialist and founder of Better Qualified. So, Paul, thanks for being on with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me back on, Elise.
Of course. Good to see you again. Okay, so is mid-February really when we get that financial reality check? Why is it right now that we're really starting to notice?
Because sometimes there's a lag in the billing periods, and people, tend to start opening up their statements now, looking at their accounts online, noticing that they don't have any available credit left on their credit cards. So this is when, that harsh reality check comes in, because it's been made so easy for people to get approved for these buy now, pay later programs, which are really destroying people's credit. They're adding way too many accounts in a short period of time. And let's not forget, credit card balances, it's the second factor in our credit scoring model. So as soon as those balances creep up over 30% of the credit limits, that ratio, our credit scores start to come down. So then that's going to wind up costing us more for every other single financial transaction.
Geez, so some big implications that we're talking about here, Paul. So you've got some numbers for us here. Average shopper added more than $1,200 in holiday debt. So if that's someone that's watching right now, what is the first step that they should take and if they're feeling overwhelmed by that?
Yeah, so you need to put a spending freeze in place immediately, because if you continue to spend more and more money, it's going to be almost impossible to start paying off that debt. Let's not forget, most of these people are well above 20% interest rate. So put a spending freeze in place, whether it's daily, weekly, sometimes it's going to be monthly, and then start to focus on paying off the credit card debt. Where's that money going to come from? Well, you're going to stop spending more and more money, and we need to put a household budget in place. Most of our households right now need to be run like a small business. There could be hundreds of transactions every single month. Who's the CFO of your household? Who's mining the business? So we need to make sure that we have a household budget in place. And look, if you got any type of tax refund coming up, maybe you got a year-end bonus, we don't spend that on lifestyle upgrades. We have to take that full amount and apply it towards the principal balances on our credit cards. The greatest return in investment right now, I don't care, tariff, stock market, the best return on your money right now is paying down your credit card debt. Every single dollar you pay down, that's like getting the same amount of money back in interest. If you're at 29% interest on your credit cards, that's a dollar. Every single dollar you pay down, you're getting a 29% return. Pay down your credit card debt as quickly as possible. Reach out to the creditors. Be proactive here. A lot of the banks will put you into a credit management program directly. If they're not willing to do it, raise your hand, swallow your pride, and realize that you're in trouble. Reach out to a nonprofit credit counseling company. They have leverage, of hundreds of clients, so they're able to get principal balance reductions. And at the very least, they're going to get those interest rates down to zero while you're in that credit management program. That's how you accelerate the debt elimination.
Hey, some good stuff. We needed this message. Where can we go for more information, Paul?
Go to our website, betterqualified.com.
All right. Paul Oster joining us today from Better Qualified. Thank you so much for the help, Paul. We appreciate it. Good to see you.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Our time is 11:28, and coming up for you on the stream, we'll have the latest on the investigation into where Nancy Guthrie is. We'll check in with our reporter, so stick around for that. back, everyone. 11:30 now. Okay, so it's been 3 weeks now. Officials are still searching for Nancy Guthrie. Law enforcement right now are working with Walmart, trying to figure out who bought some items that were seen on that Ring doorbell camera. So we'll get into a bit of that. But Fox's Rebecca Castor is in Tucson for us with the very latest. So, Rebecca, thank you for joining us today. Teams are hoping DNA testing technology can provide some answers here.
Yeah, Elise, good morning. As you mentioned, 19 days into this, they're working off very few credible leads, but that DNA evidence found inside the home is really some of their best pieces of evidence right now. In addition to that door camera video, they found the DNA inside the home and say that it does not belong to Nancy Guthrie or any member of her family, and investigators feel strongly that it could be DNA of the suspect. So they have put it through FBI databases. So far, it hasn't brought up any hits. They're still continuing that, but they are also now turning to genetic genealogy testing. And if you remember back to the Brian Kohberger case in Idaho, this was critical in having investigators to find him as the suspect. And hopefully in this case, it will be the breakthrough that investigators need.
It could provide a huge break in the case that so many are looking for right now. So let's touch on how Google's not confident, though, that when we're talking about the video, that they'll be able to retrieve any more of this video that could also be really critical in this case. Rebecca?
Right. So they were able to work with Google and retrieve that door camera video that was released last week. They're still working to retrieve video from other cameras on her property. We know Nancy Guthrie had several other videos on her property. Google isn't confident that they're going to be able to retrieve any more videos. We know they're working with Apple and Meta to see if their expertise might be able to be helpful here. But so far, we haven't heard of any other videos being released.
Rebecca, give us an idea of what it's like on the ground there for you in Tucson, you know, at the center of this investigation that's now been going on for almost 3 weeks, which is pretty wild that so much time has passed. So what is the tone of being there in the middle of everything right now?
Yeah, frustrating is definitely one word to describe it. A lot of people in this community shocked that it has taken so long, and we're at this point nearly 20 days, 19 days into this, and investigators are working off very few credible leads. They also haven't confirmed at all whether those ransom notes that have been sent to TMZ and other media outlets are actually connected to the case or not. So the tone here is really frustrating and just a lot of unanswered questions that hopefully investigators will be able to answer in the next few days.
Yeah, hopefully so. Fox's Rebecca Castor live for us, reporting there in Tucson. Rebecca, thank you so much for filling us in on this today. We certainly appreciate that. Well, turning our attention now to another big one today. This was big breaking news. Former British royal Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been arrested in the UK. Police are saying it's on suspicion of misconduct in public office, is again the message from authorities. So the arrest is coming amid renewed scrutiny, really, into his ties with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and it's followed the release of documents tied to that long-running probe. So Fox's Stephanie Bennett is going to fill us in more on what's happening with this.
Well, what's interesting in this case as it all unfolds is the shock of this all. Everybody realized that something may happen eventually. They didn't expect it to happen quite like this. And of course, what's significant is the urgency. It's an arrest. It wasn't, an invitation to come down to the police station to give evidence. So I think that's the part that is most shocking right now. And of course, police have to treat this like it's any other investigation for any other person. No special treatment, of course. An arrest also means police can now search his home and possessions. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, of course, is King Charles' younger brother. He has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office over allegations he sent confidential government documents to Jeffrey Epstein. Thames Valley Police said earlier this month that officers were considering those allegations after the files were released by the U.S. government. Now, in a statement released this morning by Thames Valley Police, they did not name Andrew directly as per national guidance, but did say, in part, we have today arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. Now, the man remains in police custody at this time. Now, we're not sure if that's a police holding cell. We do know he could be held for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Earlier, newspapers reported that 6 unmarked police cars and around 8 plainclothes officers had arrived at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate in eastern England, where Andrew, of course, now lives after being forced to leave Windsor's Royal Lodge after he was stripped of his titles. Andrew has always, of course, denied any wrongdoing. Now, we also heard from Virginia Guthrie's family, who, of course, she was an advocate for survivors of sex trafficking, one of the most prominent accusers. Her family said, quote, "At last, today our broken hearts have been lifted at the news that no one is above the law, not even royalty. On behalf of our sister, Virginia Roberts Guthrie, we extend our gratitude to the UK's Thames Valley Police for their investigation and arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He was never a prince. For survivors everywhere, Virginia did this for you." Of course, today also marks his 66th birthday. Back to you.
Yeah, happened on his birthday. Stephanie Bennett reporting there. So we did hear from King Charles III. A statement was released, issued from Buckingham Palace on his brother's arrest. So I want to read this quote from King Charles III. He says, "I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the suspicion of misconduct in public office." He said, "What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner by the appropriate authorities. In this, if I said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation." He goes on to say here, "Let me state clearly, the law must take its course at this process as it continues. It would not be right for me to comment further on this matter." And the king ended it by saying, "My family and I will continue in our duty and service to all of you." So the king's remarks come after the former prince, who spent decades as UK's trade envoy, was taken into custody at his estate. Police previously said the force was reviewing allegations that a woman was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to have a sexual encounter with Andrew. The former prince has yet to respond to the latest allegations that have emerged about the Justice Department's release of additional Epstein files, but the ex-duke has previously denied any wrongdoing or ties to them. So some big news coming out of the UK. Let's get to a few big national stories for us now. National Institutes of Health Director Jay Bhattacharya will be taking on an additional role. So he will temporarily serve as the acting director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. This is according to an administration official. He'll be replacing Health and Human Services Secretary Jim O'Neill, who was appointed as acting CDC director back in 2025, but was then dismissed. The transition to the third shift for the CDC leader under President Trump's second term. Former CDC Director Susan Menarez was fired after just 29 days on the job. You'll remember that. She says it's because she refused to approve some changes to the childhood vaccine schedule. The Trump administration is planning to find a permanent director for the agency, but that will require Senate confirmation in order to make that happen. And out of New York, where the mayor there, Zoran Mamdani, says the city will begin clearing homeless encampments again after previously criticizing the move. So he paused the previous mayor's policies as he entered office in January, arguing he didn't get the job done and get enough people into housing. So under his plan, the mayor says he'll post a notice of the clearing of the encampment and then send in homeless encampment outreach workers to try to help people, provide them with resources and all of that. City sanitation workers will then clear out the encampment with police present. So this comes after at least 19 people died out in the cold on the days they had of those freezing temperatures up there in New York. But the mayor's office says there's no proof that anyone who died lived in an encampment. So executive director for the homeless coalition of the homeless, David Griffin, says the move is going to do very little to help those who are actually homeless there on the streets of New York. It's 11:40 now. U.S. Department of Education says it will change its race-based criteria for federal grants. The department's decision comes after the Young America's Foundation requested to drop its case against the DOE on Tuesday. So the foundation filed a lawsuit in 2024, and it alleged that the department was guilty of racial discrimination due to its eligibility criteria for the Ronald E. McNair Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Program. Current federal regulations define underrepresented groups in graduate programs as Black, Hispanic, American Indian, Alaskan Native, Native Hawaiians, and Native American Pacific Islanders in that as well. But they say the move to drop its case after the agency agreed to no longer, quote, implement the racially discriminatory aspects of the McNair program. Our time is 11:40, and we are back with more right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 11:43. Thank you for being with us. And so at this point, you might be looking toward planning a trip in the future. Maybe it's spring break. Maybe you're looking ahead to summer. And you may not be knowing that AI can actually make this process much easier for you. So let's find out a little bit more about how to make that work. We've got Verizon tech expert Parker Branton showing us how to ditch the manual search. So we are all ears. Let's get these trips booked and planned. So Parker, thank you so much for being on the stream with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, let's get rid of those tabs and let's talk about smartphones and AI. How about that?
Let's do it. How do we even get started with this?
So for this example, we're going to use the Google Pixel 10 Pro. And so with just holding down the power button, you are holding a travel agent in your hand. And we're going to go a little bit deeper with this example. We're going to build a staycation right here in Atlanta. So what I did was I held down the power button. Gemini comes up and then I give it the prompt, hey, Gemini, I'm in Atlanta and I want a fun-filled day. Can you build an itinerary for me? So then it did. It gave me all kinds of options for my day, from the Breakfast Club to the Georgia Aquarium, World of Coke, all with just one simple prompt. It even gives you a map there to give you an idea of where these locations are. It talks about the Beltline. So when you're on the Beltline, another way you could use AI when you're on your staycation is if you pick up one of these pairs of Meta glasses. So when you're walking on the Beltline and you see a restaurant that you want to check out for later in your day, you can say, hey, Meta, tell me a little bit about that restaurant. What's on their menu? What are the reviews like? And it'll tell you right there in your ears while you're wearing these glasses. It is super cool, super convenient. We are living in the future now.
We are. Those are snazzy. I got to tell you, I like those. Those look great, especially too.
I know these are the new Oakley ones. So these are really cool. Come check them out at your local Verizon store. They are awesome.
I like that. Okay, I'm struck by how easy that you were able to do that. It didn't seem like it really took many prompts for you to be able to get that much information to have a whole itinerary.
It doesn't. Like I said, all you do is hold down that power button if you have the Google Pixel 10 Pro, and it's just in a matter of seconds. And I also did an example for if you get tired of the cold, right, and you want to go to Cancun or a warmer destination, I put in another prompt. I said, I live in Georgia. I want a warm getaway here in February. I'm bringing my wife, my 2-year-old. We'll all be traveling together. I want a mix of relaxation and activities, and my budget is $3,000. I really like this one because it really breaks down the hotel prices. It tells you where you can go. It gives you that real-time data from Google Flights and hotels. It can even search your Gmail from your past flight preferences. And get this too, if you link your Google Photos account with Google Gemini, it can say, hey, I remember you screenshotted that restaurant a while back from this spot in Cancun that you really wanted to check out. It can add it to your itinerary, tell you exactly how much it's going to cost. And when it's taking that real-time data in, it's also subtracting it out of your budget. You can see it's telling you, okay, look, if you stay here, it's a little nicer, but you're only going to have about this amount left for food and souvenirs. So it's really convenient. And also you can print that out with just a click of a button, turn it into a Google Maps doc to where you can map out your trip on Google Maps right on your phone, or you can print it out if you like to have it in your hand. But this is a phone that can do it all right in the palm of your hand. And if you don't have an AI phone, if your phone doesn't have AI, stop by your local Verizon store, get a new phone on that unlimited ultimate plan, and it's going to change how you travel for good.
Yeah, one more thing before we let you go. Any tips for those that are maybe planning to travel abroad? Just some things to keep in mind, or potentially how they can use AI to try to plan something like that?
Yeah, especially, if you're going somewhere where there's a lot of sightseeing, right? You can tell Gemini, hey, look, these are the spots that I want to see. I want to see the Eiffel Tower. I want to go eat at this restaurant. I saw this on TikTok and it's really cool, so I want to stop by and check it out. AI is going to compile all that information. It's going to tell you maybe breakfast is better at this location, or maybe lunch is better. So it's going to give you an idea of what the reviews are saying online, what people are saying on the internet about these different spots. What's the best time of year to visit them, right? So you don't show up and it's freezing cold or it's too hot for your liking. So you can really, the more you feed Google Gemini and any type of AI, the better it's going to be for you. It's going to tell you, hey, I remember that you like pizza. There's an awesome pizza spot around the corner here from where you're staying in Italy. It'll do that all in real time. It's going to make traveling so much different for you, and it's going to be more convenient. Like you said, nobody likes to have 20 tabs open, fumbling through different airline sites, different hotel sites. It's all right there on Google Gemini or any other AI service that you use, and it's going to make traveling so much easier. It's going to make life easier. The future of travel is happening right now.
I love this. Some really fantastic ways to get those trips planned for spring and for summer, of course. So Verizon Tech expert Parker Branton, thank you so much for the help today. We appreciate it.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
All right, it's 11:48 now, and turning our attention to something big that's happening for students all across Georgia. We are talking about the construction-ready Career Expo. It's happening at the Georgia World Congress Center. So our Chris Rosenthal is out there with a look around and what these students are getting to experience today. Hey, Chris.
What's that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is just getting started here today. The construction-ready Career Expo, and thousands of students coming down here to partake in these construction-ready competitions, and the opportunity to, well, here, let me just show you right now. They're already getting started. These students here are already getting started with a building project. We talk so much about the skilled trades and how important they are, and how we don't have enough people out there really, in the skilled trades, such a big need. And I'm here with Scott Sheelar here with Construction Ready. And Scott, tell me first of all, skilled trades. Talk to me about the need for that here.
Yeah, well, so in nationwide, it's about 500,000 every year that we need in the United States. Here in Georgia, it's around 10,000 is what we need, right, to meet the demand. And it's a combination of things. We have a labor shortage because people are retiring from our industry, but also because there's so much need and demand, right? All these new data centers being built and all the infrastructure, the roads and bridges. Here in downtown Atlanta, you have the new Centennial Yards. You know, I don't know about you, but this whole downtown area is already looking different, and it's because of construction.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of a stigma about some of these jobs. That these are really good paying jobs with a really bright future, huh?
They are, right? So the skilled trades, I mean, we have these young men and women behind me. When they leave high school with the credentials they have, the experience, they can make $40 or $50 an hour. I mean, right out of high school with experience. So we see it all the time. And the other beautiful thing is they don't have that student loan debt from college, right? They have the experience, they have the credentials, they have the training. They can go right to work straight out of high school.
You can walk around a little bit here, just kind of show. I mean, it's every sort of discipline we have here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So 26 different competitions. We were just in teamwork. So you have drywall over here to my left, plumbing over to the right. One of our most exciting competitions is welding. There's a huge demand for welders all over the country.
That's the stuff behind these red curtains.
Exactly.
There,
the red curtains. You can see the sparks flying. That's a really popular competition. Carpentry over here to my right. But yeah, 26 different competitions, over 600 competitors from all over the state of Georgia.
And we have plumbing getting started here?
Yes, they'll be cranking up tomorrow, actually, tomorrow morning. Obviously, welding has already cranked up. But definitely exciting.
And one thing I noticed here is a lot of women. We often think about these as kind of guy jobs, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so we have a labor shortage in construction, as I shared. The part of the problem is women are underrepresented in our workforce, right? In construction, they only represent about 10% of the workforce. So our thinking is if we can get more women, that will help address the labor shortage, right? If we can get that percentage up to what it should be, which is about 50%, that will help, address the labor shortage that we have.
Yeah, and they're every bit as skilled and every bit as ready to get out there. Huh?
They are, and that's what's so exciting about this event. The women jump in and learn the skill. You see them competing. We had an all-female team back there in Teamworks, which is really cool. But yeah, the women. But part of this is to demystify the trades, right? To allow young people to put a tool in their hand, and that's what the expo is all about.
And that's what some of these young people are doing right now.
Exactly.
So doing some welding. So
they are. Yes.
Well, Scott, we'll be out here with you guys all day, and if people want to come down, it's free. They can register online and come down.
ConstructionReady.org. Yes, sir.
Georgia World Congress Center. Thanks,
Love it.
guys.
Good interactive stuff out there as well. This looks like a good deal. All right, Chris, thank you so much for showing us around out there. We appreciate that. Now, at the same time, there is a new place for teens to get in touch with their tech side. So our Eli Jordan is joining us with from the latest. There's a ribbon cutting for a new tech center. So can't wait to hear all about it, Eli. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Elise. Yeah, I'm out here in Scottsdale at the Hamilton Community Center where they did have a ribbon cutting, and for kids to come here after school or any time during the holidays or whatever, and get their hands on some really cool tech to help stir their creativity. And with me is the Tech Center Director, Stephen Chapital. And Stephen, thank you so much.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So tell me, how big of a deal is it for you guys to have this here at the Hamilton Community Center?
I think it's a really big deal, seeing that we are able to service teenagers now with a lot of technology and resources that weren't always readily available, from Mac computers to PCs to anything audio engineering, 3D printer. We have a lot of things available for them to learn and to gain resources from here.
And it's just to spark their imagination, right?
Yes, so we're trying to get them involved with the change in technology, with creativity.
I mean, you guys even have a DJ set up here.
Nice little DJ rig for them to learn. Yeah, so, something they can do at a young age that maybe they can monetize and learn how to do. So.
And then also, so you got room here for.
So that's our podcast room right here. So this is for music recording, podcast recording, anything of that sort. So we have that set up for them.
And then one other thing that's real impressive here is the audio studio you got going on.
So the recording studio that we have right here, yeah. So this is where all the audio engineering and all the the mixing will happen, the editing, all those things will occur in this room right here.
Awesome. So how many, kids take advantage of this rec center, would you say? I mean, can you put a number on it, or?
So before the opening, we had a couple drop-ins from kids, around like 20 to 30 kids at times. But now we're hoping to see a growth in that attendance with the classes we're going to offer, with the drop-in times we're going to offer on a weekly basis. So we're hoping to get that number up as much as we can.
What are your operating hours?
Right now, we are operating 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And our hours are subject to change soon from Tuesday through Saturday, same times.
And this is for open to all teenagers, right?
All teens are available to come in here whenever they want to explore some things that we have.
And, previous to this, I mean, pretty much all you guys had were just a recreational type offerings like basketball, kickball, things like that.
Yes,
but
sir.
now, DeKalb County Parks and Recreation Cultural Affairs, they kicked it up a notch by adding all this technology, right?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of technology for the kids to explore and to learn from and to gain their interest in things that they may not know they want to do. So.
And they might find, the creativity. They might not find, that spark in school, but they can come here and maybe find a path for them to get on and figure it all out. Well, this is awesome, Stephen. Thank you so much for your time here
Yes,
at
sir.
the Hamilton Community Center.
Yes, sir.
And it's really cool, Elise, that they got, just opened up today. It'll be open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it should be an exciting time for some creative kids to get out here and see what they can create and maybe monetize off of it.
That is so cool. I can't get over how nice it is, but the incredible technology that's out there as well. Some good stuff going on there in Scottdale. Eli, thank you so much for the look at that new tech center. We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us on this Thursday. We've got more news and weather headed your way at noon, so we'll see you then. Take care.